Rubric to evaluate educational resources produced by teachers after visual literacy training. This paper describes developing and validating a rubric to assess the in-service teachers' abilities to build educational resources after visual literacy training. The educators who attended training to develop their visual literacy competency were requested to produce a resource for their professional practice. Researchers sought to evaluate this evidence of acquired knowledge using a rubric which was also used to collect data for future studies. Aspects to evaluate with the rubric. Based on the ACRL standards, 6 competencies were established to promote visual literacy among course participants. According to the competencies, 8 aspects were set to evaluate with the rubric. Here you can see the competent description and the aspects to evaluate. The 3-level rubric scale indicates the level of performance and the score learners can achieve. Here you can see the levels and the score range. The maximum score is 40 points and the minimum is 0. Content validity of the rubric. The validation was conducted by expert judgment. The judges were selected according to 4 criteria: independence, professional proficiency, academic research, high responsibility management. Judges are university professors. The first one, expert in linguistics, the second, expert in education and ICT, and the last one, expert in communication and graphic design. Criteria to rubric validation. Each judge was asked to evaluate 2 criteria according to their academic background and expertise. Here you can see the criteria and who assessed the criterion. The validation by the experts was carried out in 2 modalities, face-to-face and asynchronously. In face-to-face, the changes were made immediately, explaining the changes requested by the experts, and the dialogue with the research was significant. In this modality, the expert sent the new version with the suggestions and his respective arguments. Final version rubric. The different rubric components were reformulated according to the judge's suggestions. Here we can see the aspects 1, 2, and 3. Here the aspects 4, 5, and 6, and here 7 and 8. Evaluation using the rubric. It was applied to assess the teacher's digital and physical educational resources after visual literacy training as evidence of acquired knowledge. 2 well-qualified professors conducted the evaluation process. They came from different fields of knowledge to avoid a single approach. A rubric is a tool associated with evaluating the trainees' competencies in a structured and clear way. The rubric allows judges to keep aware of the evaluation aspects, avoiding subjective criteria that impact the evaluation process. The assessment of visual literacy competence development must be theoretical and practical. So, based on the intervention of visual literacy in which this paper is framed, the rubric states as a core tool to collect data to study the in-service teachers' acquired knowledge. The development and validation of this rubric are part of a systematic research process. The collected data were analyzed and used to correlate theoretical and practical knowledge achieved by educators. Future papers will report the evaluation data and results.